Hello students, welcome to the Income Tax Law and Practice class with me Adela Samuel, Head Department of Accounting and Finance. Today's topic is going to be on the concept of Provident Fund. Today's topic is going to be on Provident Fund. Otherwise, we call it as PF. It is an amount deducted from the salary of an employee every month at a particular rate, and the employer also makes his contribution to this fund. So along with salary, the employer puts a small amount from his pocket as a contribution to a fund called as Provident Fund. This is also funded, or a small contribution is also given by the employee himself, and they put it in this fund called as Provident Fund. Every month from the salary, this small amount is deducted and put it and it is put in this fund called as Provident Fund. The types of Provident Fund. There are 4 types of Provident Fund that we are going to see today. Number 1 is called Statutory Provident Fund. It's also called SPF. Number 2 is called Recognized Provident Fund, RPF. Number 3 is Unrecognized Provident Fund, URPF. And number 4 is Public Provident Fund for the employees and non-employees. It is otherwise called as PPF. First, we'll see what is Statutory Provident Fund or SPF. This Statutory Provident Fund, it is for the employees of government, semi-government, railways, local bodies, universities, and recognized educational institutions. So any governmental organizations or semi-governmental organizations, a PF that is collected in these organizations, it is termed as Statutory Provident Fund or SPF. The tax treatment for these funds are: number 1, the employee, when he contributes, it qualifies for deduction under section 80C. If the employer is contributing, that amount is exempted in the hands of the employee. It will not be taxed in the hands of the employee. Number 3, any payment of accumulated balance on termination of service is exempted in employee's hands. So when the employee is getting terminated or he is retiring and there is an accumulated balance that is given to him from this Statutory Provident Fund, that amount is exempted from tax in case he is an government or semi-government employee, and if it is a Statutory Provident Fund in the hands of the employee. The second type of PF is going to be called as the Recognized Provident Fund or RPF. This fund is recognized by the Commissioner of Income Tax, and that is why it is given the name as Recognized Provident Fund. This is allowed for any kind of employee, whether it is going to be a government institution or a private institution. Any employee can be recognized under this type of a Provident Fund scheme. What is the tax treatment? Tax treatment, if it is the employee's contribution, if the employee himself is contributing for the scheme, it qualifies for deduction under section 80C. If the employer is contributing, then exemption in employees up to 12% of salary is given, and the interest on accumulated balance will be exempted up to 9.5%. So whatever the employer is contributing, it is exempted up to 12% of salary for a working employee. The interest part of the accumulated balance, so you're accumulating some kind of a provident fund. So the interest that is received on the accumulated balance will be exempted up to 9.5% in case of employer contribution. This will be taxed for the employee. Then the third part is payment of accumulated balance on termination of service. The balance accumulated is paid to the employees only if he renders service for more than 5 years, or if terminated with one employer before 5 years but has continued the same provident fund with another employer, then he will be eligible. So if when he is going to be terminated, the accumulated the provident fund will be returned back to him. So the entire amount that he has collected as provident fund will be given back to him. But there are two conditions for him. That is, if he is worked more than 5 years, the accumulated fund will be given back. If he is worked for less than 5 years and he has continued the same fund with another employee, then he will be eligible for this payment of accumulated balance on termination of service. So this is the tax treatment that you need to remember for recognized provident fund. The next type of fund is the unrecognized provident fund, which is called as the URPF. Now, this fund is not recognized by the Income Tax Commissioner. So that is why it is called as the unrecognized provident fund. So what is the tax treatment in this case? The employee's contribution for himself, it will not qualify for deduction. So you need to remember, if it is unrecognized provident fund, it will not qualify for deduction under section 80C. The employer, when he contributes, how will it be treated? It is exempted in the hands of employee and not included in the salary part. So it will not be included in as salary, and it will also be exempted in the employee's hands. Third point is the payment of accumulated balance. If the URPF is recognized by IT, income tax authorities, from that date of initiation, it would become a RPF and those terms will apply. So say for example, you have put in your money in a unrecognized provident fund scheme. When the payment of accumulated balance is given, if suppose this scheme has been recognized by the income tax authorities, it will become a recognized provident fund or a RPF. Then in that case, the RPF tax treatment rules will apply and not URPF. So that has to be taken care of. Now, when the payment of accumulated balance in case of termination of or resignation or death. So in this case, what happens? The employee contribution will not be taxed, but the interest on URPF will be taxed as income from other sources. Because it is not a recognized PF, they are not treating it as a salary part at all. So they will treat it like a income from other sources and tax it under that head. It will not be shown under salaries head. The employer contribution, interest on URPF is treated as profit in lieu of salary. So it is considered as a profit and not as a salary. So this is the tax treatment that you need to remember for a unrecognized provident fund. In case of a public provident fund, it's called as a PPF. This is the fourth type of provident fund that is present. This is operated under the Public Provident Fund Act of 1968. It is a 15-year scheme and it is extendable for another 5 years. The membership is open to every individual, though it is specially suited to self-employed people. An individual can open a fund in his name or on his spouse or children's name. So this is kind of a system where it is not only given for a person who is working under an employer-employee relationship, but it is given to any person, any individual can opt for this provident fund scheme. They can take it for themselves or they can take it for their spouse or for their children also. So the minimum contribution for this PPF is 500 per year. The maximum contribution that will qualify for deduction on this amount is rupees 1,50,000, whether it is paid in lump sum or in installment. So for a year, till 1,50,000 you can pay and it will be allowed for tax redemption. So what is the tax treatment in case of public provident fund? Individual's contribution qualifies for deduction under section 80C. The interest that is accumulated is exempted fully. and payment of accumulated balance on withdrawal is also exempted. So why this kind of a scheme is given is to encourage people to put it in provident fund to save money so that later it will be useful for them. So this public provident fund, one benefit that is there is anybody can take it. It's not just for any employer or employee. Even if you're running a business on your own, that person can also go in for a public provident fund. So these are the tax qualifications under public provident fund. So in this video, you have learnt 4 types of provident funds and what is their tax treatment. So the 4 types of provident funds are statutory provident fund, recognized provident fund, unrecognized provident fund and public provident fund. Please go through these notes once again, over and over again, so that you will retain it in your minds and use this in case of the sums or in case of salary calculation. You have to use these concepts. You need to use these rules and regulations. So please go through these videos again and again to understand it much more clearly. Thank you for listening, students.